I spent all week mastering Vendetta with incredible success, and today I am going to use the knowledge I acquired to give you a complete advanced guide of her combos, best matchups, worst matchups, playstyle, and more. Let's start with her combos, which there are plenty. The most common one you'll use are on support heroes such as Ana. The two main ones you want to do, if you're coming from the sky, something like this, you slash down from the top, projectile, one slice. Here's one of many clips of me doing it in a real match. And as you can see, it's very effective. The other alternative is you can do it by facing directly into the opponent. So you can throw your sword with E, slice, and then once again, sword slash. I was a little delayed there to show you the order, but it's very quick and can catch most of them off guard. A very easy variation to that, if you're not so comfortable with your aim, is you do the exact same thing, downward slice, sword slash, and then dash. That one's good if your opponent is kind of running away from you, because then they can't escape you, and you're coming towards them. But overall, you want to save that ability for movement, so that you can do this, and then get out. You don't want to dump all of your abilities at once. Another combo that you can use on the higher health heroes, like if you say want to dive at Bastion, looks like this. It's overhead strike, thrown sword, E on their feet, and slash overhead. It shreds them very quickly. And of course, it also works very well with just entering with all three slashes. It'll just do a little bit more damage. Another great combo that works if you want to use all your abilities at once, you can go up in the sky like I always like to engage, slash down, and then with the whirlwind dash perk, you just demolish anything in your path. And once again, the best part, they can't run away from you because you're charging at them. So you go up, you slash down, and you dash in. Very effective, kills a group of people as well, which is the best part. And I've been able to use it in many different matches to great effect. And finally, this might be my favorite combo, however, it is a little bit trickier to hit. You start with a thrown sword, E, and overhead slash. Very fast, you can do it from range, you don't have to engage them until the very end. And it really catches them off guard. The hard part is, your opponents usually aren't standing still, so you have to hit both shots, and then boom. Either way, very effective, and you have a lot of options for combos, depending on whatever scenario you happen to be in. She's kind of insane. Next up, I really want to talk about some important tips and like little tricks I learned while I was mastering this hero. A big one, and you kind of saw it in the combos, is that you can cancel your like E early. You don't have to go all the way through them and go all like so far away. It's not very beneficial. Because if you're fighting a target close up, you might want to do a couple slashes, but then if you throw it at their feet, it immediately engages. You don't have to wait for the sword to reach its end. You can just throw it at the ground or any surface, honestly. Throw it at the wall, boom. You can very quickly engage it. Very helpful for quick damage, so you don't have to miss your opponent for one by going too far through them. Like that. And also, like I said, it's just great for speed. Here's another example of me doing that in a real game. Another important thing to know is, although I'm actually finding it a little delayed since full release, I don't know the numbers, but it feels slower, it is still the fastest option after landing from any ability, is to use a projectile strike. So if your opponent is low, don't wait to land and then start swinging, unless you have 8 stacks of your onslaught, of course. But in general, you want to land and then very quickly throw out a sword strike. Another thing that is important to know, as I alluded to earlier, you don't want to waste all of your abilities at once. So if you're going in on the Ana, you should not also use your slash unless you know that you can immediately get out safely. Or if you're planning on going full glass cannon, which I tend to enjoy. So it's smart to use the other combos I showed you, such as this, where you can save your slash to get out or engage more enemies. Another tip I found helpful is that you are a melee hero, it is hard to engage, so try to engage your opponents from off angles where they cannot see you. You get closer, and then you can even start your swings before you see them and load it up, so you have your maximum damage overhead swing for your very first blow. I have used that many times, it's very effective, and because of how quickly Vendetta gets bursted alive once you show your face, it's very handy to just come around the side and do it like that. Another thing people don't seem to realize is that you actually get more distance from your E if you cancel it early. So, for example, if I just throw E, let it reach the end, and hold forward, I end up right here, halfway down the middle of this pathway. But If you use E and then press space right before the end of it, you end up all the way over here. It's a massive distance increase, and it makes the difference, I promise. So almost every time, I am canceling it early. And just as you saw in my combos, the exact same thing goes for if you're attacking. You can still cancel early when you're doing this. I canceled it about halfway through my trajectory so that I could quickly land and slice through the top of this bot. Most of Vendetta's tips and tricks and playstyle is just really about saving time between your abilities, so you can use all of them in quick succession. Another helpful tip I would like to note is that you can save your overhead slash from E with your dash. So if you can't quite make it to the opponent, you dash, and then you get more distance, but you still get the damage from your overhead slice. I've also used that many times. Very helpful, and feels very cool. Woohoo! That was satisfying. And finally, do not be afraid to use your long distance slashes. It has increased projectile speed since full release, so it's a buff, and it is the most effective way to keep your meter as full as possible, because this boosts your movement speed and your attack speed, and it's how you want to be at all times. So if you're in the battle, you're not engaging right now, they're over there, you use your sword, boom, I'm back at 8. Keep it fresh, always throw in, try and keep your meter full as much as you can so that when you engage, everyone dies as quickly as possible. And that concludes the main tips that I most wanted to share with you. If you have other questions, please let me know in the comments. I will be happy to answer. I pretty much know everything at this point about this hero. But for now, we can move on to her matchups. And funnily enough, one of her worst matchups is Ana. She is so freaking annoying, and she's the bane of my existence. And that's why I always feel so great to murder her in the practice range. Her sleep dart immediately kills any attack and almost is a guaranteed death for you when you dive in. And of course, anti-heal is anti-heal and it makes your life miserable. So what you really want to do is bait out her cooldowns, wait for her to use sleep, and then go in on her so she is mostly defenseless. Another bad matchup is my boy Cassidy. His flashbang, the way it is in modern day, really makes Vendetta difficult, because he will use it on you every single time you engage, and it will make it very difficult for you to get a kill and get out. So please be very careful and stay away from Cassidy as much as possible unless you know his cooldowns are, well, on cooldown. As for tanks, Zarya has always been my worst enemy, so I will just hate her for every matchup ever. But for Vendetta specifically, I had a problem with Roadhog. Once again, just like Sleep Dart, anytime you engage, he will be looking for the hook, and it will one-shot you every single time. So it is very important, especially with Roadhog, that you wait for the hook to be used before you actually engage him or pretty much anyone around him, because he will punish you. And any tank for that matter, honestly. Vendetta does not really excel against tanks. Her damage is great for killing like 200, 250 health heroes, but when you get a bigger hero, it takes much more effort and too long to honestly matter. So you should really be focusing on the squishier heroes. As for her best matchups, I find she really excels against a Lucio. One, because you are fast enough to keep up with him and take him down from the walls and all sorts of things like that. See clip here for reference. But also, most notably, your ultimate goes straight through his sound barrier. So even if a Lucio uses a defensive ult to counter you, it doesn't matter, you will kill him anyway. I also find, rather surprisingly, she excels against flying heroes. And this is most notably because she can drag any one of them out of the sky. And it is incredibly satisfying. I have found most success doing it against Mercy, but it will work against Echo, Pharah, or anyone else that happens to be bothering you from the air. As for tanks, she honestly doesn't really excel against any of them, but I've had quite a lot of fun bullying Wrecking Balls, because he doesn't think that you're fast enough, but guess what? You have some of the best movement in the entire game, and he cannot run. That's right. Okay, hold on a second. As for playstyle, we've kind of covered it here and there throughout this video so far, but in general, like I said, you want to be engaging from off angles so they can't see you. You want to save an ability to do some damage and get out. And you want to do as much as you can to keep your rage meter, whatever you want to call it, I honestly forgot what it's called, as full as possible all the time. I find it's actually pretty easy to get in, do a bunch of damage, and then get out, so long as you have your supports nearby, or you're doing it in off angles to where you are dashing away to safety. It's great for building alt charge, because her ultimate is one of the best things about her kit. Haven't really talked about it in this video, but I think you get it. Go in the air, hold Q, win the game. And on that note, one thing I forgot to mention, you should really be abusing her mobility to get yourself good angles for an ult. I've done it in quite a few clips that I'll put overlaying the screen right now, but basically there's a bunch of rooftops and just areas of different maps that you can go over the top of, and nobody sees it coming, and it means you have enough time to fully charge your ult so you can kill everything in your sights. And finally, if you're wanting my personal preference, I like to use Relentless for minor perk and Raging Storm for major perk. It's up to you, it's preference, but I really enjoy the glass cannon playstyle, and that very much supports it. If you found this tutorial helpful, or if there's anything else you want to know, please leave a comment, subscribe, and like the video, and stay tuned for more Vendetta content, as well as a bunch of other Overwatch, Fortnite, Marvel Rivals stuff. It's all great, you're gonna love it. I will see you in the next video. Peace. Subscribe.
Do it.